I have 5 o'clock, so I would like to call the meeting to order. I'll do a voice roll call. Commissioner Don Burrows.
Here.
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy.
Here.
Commissioner Chris-Ann Sheedy.
Here.
And Chair Commissioner Pam Widdop is present. Let the records show that in place of Executive Director Steiger, who is absent due to an unexpected family medical emergency, the maintenance and information technology employee of the Eastern Housing Authority, Derek House, is acting as the administrator to keep this meeting going, and also let the records show that it is being recorded by Easton Community Access Television. Okay. In the absence of Executive Director Steiger, we may be tabling some of the items on the agenda. So I wanted to first ask, as I go through the agenda items, I'll ask the board members present if they're comfortable with tabling the item or discussing it. Agenda item number 1 is the October warrant approval in the amount of $196,638.01. Are you comfortable with presenting this, Commissioner Dennis Sheedy?
No.
Okay. Commissioner Don Burrows?
No.
Okay. And Commissioner Chris-Ann Sheedy?
I would be fine with it.
Okay. I did have one question on it, so based on the 2 no's and my concern, I'd like to table this item. So agenda item number 1 is tabled. Agenda item number 2, I recommend tabling this without even bringing up the subject. Does anyone object? Agenda item number 2 is the financial statements and quarterly statements, which would be the quarterly and the half-year statements as of September 30th of 2020.
I'm fine with tabling that if you'd like.
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy?
Table.
And Commissioner Don Burrows?
Yeah, table it, please.
Thank you. So agenda item number 2, the financial statements and the quarterly statements for the half year ending September of 2020 have been tabled. Agenda item number 3 is the certificate of final completion of fiche number 088047, which is the Elise Circle handicap ramps. Are you comfortable with discussing this agenda item, Commissioner Burrows?
Yes.
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy?
Yes.
And Commissioner Chris-Ann Sheedy?
Yes.
So I'll entertain a motion to accept this.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we accept certificate of financial completion for fiche number 088047 for the Elise Circle handicap ramp project. And it's a release of retainage in the amount of $19,220.60.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Chris-Ann Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Don Burrows to accept the certificate of final completion on fiche number 088047 for the Elise Circle handicap ramps with a release of the final retainage of $19,220.60. I'd like to open it for discussion or questions.
Derek, are we happy with this work? You're
You have-
You're muted.
Unmute yourself, Derek.
Sorry, my dog's barking in the background. I know there was supposed to be some money held back, and I'm not sure where that stands. And that was due to landscaping that wasn't done. But the project itself, I believe, has been completed to satisfaction. So I don't know what the holdback is through the architect to Cassidy Construction. I don't know where that stood. The last, as I was saying before, the last I had heard, it was supposed to be about $3,800.
But other than the landscaping, everything's okay.
Everything's okay, yes.
And we know we're not gonna grow no seed at this time of year. If they haven't planted it by now, we'll see in the spring.
Well, that was the thing. They were supposed to do it in the spring, and that never happened due to COVID and all that. So they said in the fall, and that still hasn't happened. So I don't know where that stands with Cassidy, but we had said to the architect that we were willing to, if they would hold back the money for materials, that we could do the work ourselves to prevent Cassidy from, they come out of Woburn type of thing, so.
And it should just be so noted that there is a letter that came with this certificate of financial completion from GCG, the engineer for the project, that $1,000 has been set aside to pay for loom and seed. And the agreement was that the housing authority was going to do that portion of the work.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Commissioner Burrows, do you have any questions or exceptions?
Oh, I'm good with it. Thank you.
I'd like to put this to a vote then, to a roll call voice vote to accept, and I'll try to make sure I get this correctly here, to accept the certificate of final completion, fiche number 088047 for the Elise Circle handicap ramps. There has been $1,000 held back or credited towards the final retainage due now with this certificate of final completion for the loom and seed for the area around the dumpsters. And the total amount of the final completion is $19,220.60. I have a motion by Chrisanne Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Don Burrows. Roll call, all in favor, Don Burrows,
Yes,
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
and Commissioner Chrisanne Sheedy,
Yes,
and Commissioner Widdop, I approve as well, so it's a unanimous vote. Thank you. The next item is agenda item number 4, which is a change order on fiche number 088068, the Elise Circle Federal Pacific Electric panels. The change order is in the amount of $5,228.08. May I have a motion to accept this change order?
I'll make a motion to accept the change order for fish number 088068 for the Elite Circle electric panels in the amount of $5,228.08.
it's actually a credit for $5,228.08.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you for that correction, Commissioner Chrisanne Sheedy. And you're right, it is. I just, shame on me.
That's okay.
Accounting background makes me embarrassed. Am I read yet? Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Don Burrows for a change order on fiche number 088068 for the Elise Circle Federal Pacific Electric Panels in the amount of a credit of $5,228.08. And I'm gonna let one of the other board members explain what the credit is, or shall I? Okay, hearing no. Go ahead, Dawn.
Yeah, is this for materials being returned? Are we getting the credit on materials, right?
Yes, that's correct. There were, is regarding circuit breaker, a credit for circuit breakers.
It's a credit of labor as well as materials. It's a
Correct.
15% reduction in the cost of the original contract sum.
But
Those
there's
are
a,
any-
there's a
Sorry.
10%, there's a 10% restock, so the total credit's $3,131. So they're charging us $2,000 to restock. Seemed a little excessive to me, but whatever.
Does somebody know why those was decided that we didn't need those breakers?
When I was reading the letter from Bright Light Electrical, it said they were arc fault or GFCI breakers.
So during the project, it was determined, so a lot of them were set as arc fault breakers, and it was determined, especially in the kitchens at Elise Circle, we could not use arc fault on the refrigerators, so they were switched over to regular circuit breakers. So the way they had originally designed it, the arc faults would not work because of the way the electrical system is at Elise Circle. So it worked to our advantage where a regular is much cheaper than an arc fault.
Would there be a liability by not using the other breaker?
I do not believe so. With electrical code, we're allowed to upgrade because of the age of the building. We're not, until we add bedrooms, we're not under code to put it on arc fault. And that would actually, if we had to upgrade, it would inquire, we'd have to require some additional wiring throughout the units.
So it's within code then.
Yes. And it
Thank
was
you.
signed off, it was signed off by the local electrical inspector and also the state inspector.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? I would just like to point out that the breakdown on the credit, the total credit is $5,228.08. The breakdown is the $3,131.11 is for the materials. And then there was a credit for labor and an adjustment credit for labor, taking into account taxes and workers' comp. And then a minor additional credit for a bond premium. So the total credit is $5,228.08. Do you agree with that, Commissioner Sheedy, Dennis Sheedy?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So we have before us a motion by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Don Burrows to accept the change order to fiche number 088068 for the Elise Circle Federal Pacific Electric Panels project, reducing it in the amount of $5,228.08. I'm going to do a roll call voice vote now. Commissioner Don Burrows
Yes.
and Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Chris Ann Sheedy,
Yes.
and Commissioner Pam Woodip. I approve, so the vote is unanimous to approve that motion. Agenda item number 5, I recommend that we table that. It was unfinished business from our meeting of our previous meeting of October. In the absence of Tom Tebow not being here to review it and voice his opinion, that's my reasoning. May I have your opinion on this, Commissioner Don Burrows, of whether we could table this agenda item number 5, which is the personnel policy. It was approved with a revision at the October 10th meeting. And this is the final product that was presented by the Housing Authority office, which is the revision.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I see no reason why we couldn't move forward with it.
Okay, Commissioner Dennis Sheedy?
Where it's already been approved, I think this is just an informational thing that shows us what it looks like in the personnel policy. The changes that were made that we requested, it's just showing that they've been done, so.
Thank you.
I don't think there's a vote on it or anything. It's just acknowledging that we accept it and put it on file. I could be wrong, I don't know, maybe I'm missing
Thank
something.
you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry about that. And Commissioner Chris Ann Sheedy, so this would be some, no vote, no motion needed, something to just accept and put on file? Do you have any
I
comment?
believe so. I think we just did want to see it written out clearly for the personnel policy, was how it was explained or left in October.
Thank you.
So that's it. I would make a motion to accept the revision to the personnel policy in regards to office and maintenance hours as written and put on file.
Yeah, I would second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Don Burrows to accept the personnel policy revision and place it on file. I'll do a roll call, voice vote. Commissioner Chris Ann Sheedy
Yes.
and Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Don Burrows,
Yes.
and Commissioner Widdop. I approve, so it's unanimous. Thank you. Agenda item number 6 is we discussed this on October 13th as well, the FMR's revision to the fair market rents. It is a proposal to approve the Section 8 payment standards based on the fair market, small area fair market rents, which would become effective January 1st, 2021.
I would make a motion that we approve the small area fair market rents as proposed, effective for January 1st, 2021 for our Section 8 voucher recipients in our program.
Second.
I will discern between, there are two separate sets of fair market rents. There's one for zip code 02356, and there's a second set of rents for 02375. I'm motioning that we approve both.
And in my notes, I have a note from the last meeting that Executive Director Steiger was going to request permission. She requested permission from the board to approach HUD to our change. And so based on not knowing the answer to that, I would suggest that we table this.
Unless I misunderstood, I didn't think she was looking for permission. It was just a fact that she was gonna notify them of our, we're going back to that $50,
Yes. Yes, thank
difference.
you, Dawn. Her
And
permission was
I thought
lost.
that she was just gonna notify him. It wasn't looking for permission, right? Unless I'm
Right.
wrong.
The permission was to ask the board. She asked the board for permission to notify HUD. Thank you for clarifying that, Dawn. Do you want the the chairperson position? Okay,
good
anyways,
God.
I'm sorry. Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Christian Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy to approve the proposed Section 8 payment standards change to the small area fair market value rents, which will become effective January 1st, 2021 for the Easton Housing Authority. Do a roll call vote. All those in favor, Commissioner Christian Sheedy
Yes.
and Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes,
Commissioner Don Burrows,
Yes,
and Commissioner Widdop. Yes, so the vote is unanimous. Agenda item number 7 is the annual plan that was passed out within the past few weeks. It's a pretty detailed plan, and I would like to table it for a time when the executive director is here to answer any questions. May I have input from the other board members?
I would agree with that.
I
I would
agree.
agree.
This is on the agenda. I requested this to be put on the agenda, so thank you very much. We're going to table agenda item number 7.
That is, the public meeting is the December meeting though, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
there? Okay.
Yes, December 8th is for the public meeting, and at some point, we will need to review it and discuss it.
Okay.
Okay. And obviously, agenda item number 8 is the executive director's report and updates. I would suggest that we also table that unless the board would like to discuss any of the items that on the written report that we've received.
I agree with tabling that.
I agree too. I'm just gonna voice my discouragement with Eisenhower Drive. It's still not even out to bid. I see 705s that get no attention in Abington. I see the same thing in Easton. It's really a shame that we have houses sitting vacant with nothing being done to them month after month after month. Yet we're told that, we need to get vacants ready and house people, and people are homeless, and it's just, sits on a desk and it's not even bid yet. It's absurd. It's absurd. There's no excuse whatsoever. And I'm not blaming Kathy. I'm blaming the department, as they say. So
Yes.
that's just voicing my frustration. There's a nice way of putting it.
Well received, Commissioner Dennis Sheedy. And I would like to also comment that based on the report we received last month from Executive Director Kathy Steiger, it's clear that the maintenance department, Derek House, and the other two gentlemen on our maintenance department have been very busy working hard to get the vacancies ready for residents to move in. And it just kind of amplifies what Commissioner Dennis Sheedy just lamented, that the department is slowing things down for us to get these homeless people off the street. And agenda item number 9 is questions and comments. Hearing none, I'll move to scheduling our next meeting, which we could set up a tentative meeting, or we could wait to find out what works out best for Executive Director Steiger. May I have some input?
Well, right now, the annual plan, that meeting is scheduled for the 8th, which is our scheduled meeting day. So I would just schedule it for them and for that day, and that's our regular day. And if it doesn't work, we'll have to reschedule. That's all.
Would it be necessary for the board to review this before the public meeting?
You
Doesn't
can
have to.
review it before the meeting if you want. You could certainly call Kathy individually if you had questions. Or we could pull a meeting ahead of the 8th, but it's going to be very hard to move that meeting on the 8th because it is a posted public hearing and it's very delicately timed to be, the hearing notice was posted 45 days before that meeting. And this annual plan technically needs to be approved and submitted. This is a brand new component out of the department that everyone's required to do. This is the first year they've been required, and the whole process is a whole learning curve for everybody. But I think if we did want to do a group or a meeting to just review it amongst ourselves, we would have to do that ahead of the December 8th meeting. Just my 2 cents.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. I was aware that the board needs to vote to approve it. And that was why I had asked to have it put on tonight's agenda so that we could talk about it and kind of be proactive for December 8th.
What tends to be what's happened thus far is most of these remote meetings, there's been limited attendance amongst a lot of the authorities, and there's been very little participation to discuss the annual plans that are being proposed. So most of the time, the public hearing is opened, there's no discussion, it's closed, it goes to the board for approval. So it just, that's been the way I've seen it happen in most of the authorities this year.
Okay, then we will schedule our next meeting for Tuesday, December 8th at 5 p.m. Subject to a revision. Any other discussions or questions?
I'm all set.
Okay, then at 5 5:30 PM, I guess I would entertain a motion to adjourn, and thank you very much for your participation in this meeting.
I will
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Dawn and I are speaking simultaneously.
All right, I'll accept that as a motion by Commissioner Dawn Burrows and a second by Commissioner Chris Anchidi to adjourn the Easton Housing Authority Tuesday, November 10th meeting at 5:30 PM. All those in favor, Commissioner Chris Anchidi,
Yes.
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Dawn Burrows,
Yes.
and Commissioner Widdop, I approve. So the meeting is adjourned. Again, thanks very much, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes, have a good
Yes.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, bye-bye.
God bless.
Thanks for jumping on there, Derek. And yes, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Be well.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Safe travels too.